Hey, 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 welcome to Fridays at Noon, the Women's Empowerment segment at Edge Radio Network TV. I'm your host, Nicole Giddens, health and fitness expert. I have my co-host right here, Brooke White, entrepreneur extraordinaire and survivor expert.
Hello.
And today we have Heather Williams, or Rachel Williams. Where did I get the Heather from?
Oh, that was my listing earlier.
She is a life coach and a women's empowerment specialist. So welcome to the show today. I'm so glad to have you.
Thank you.
How you doing?
Good. I'm
Good.
doing great.
How was the drive-in?
Great. I live in the Heights.
So you were good.
Super short.
Oh, she's right around the corner. That's not fair.
I came from the country today. The country.
Good to know. Okay, so we always like to start off the show with an icebreaker. So it's Friday the 13th.
Oh,
So
yes.
I have today 13 things men think women want. And according to Psychology Today, we don't always just want these things. So I'm going to ask you ladies what you think about this.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one is an old-fashioned man.
As in?
You know, like opening up the door for you.
I can go with that.
Old-fashioned, putting the sweater out on the puddle
No,
before you walk
I don't
over
want
it.
that. Pick me up. Pick me up.
There you go.
The chivalry, always opening up the car door for
That's
you.
cool. Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I love the car door,
Uh-huh.
but it's funny, especially after living in Houston for so long, like, I'm not used to it anymore. So a guy did it for me the other day, and I was like, wow, I feel so spoiled.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is once they start doing it, they have to keep it going, right?
That's true.
You know, my grandfather always opened up the car door for my grandmother till the day that he left her.
My dad still opens the door for all of us. All the girls. Me, my girls, my mom, my grandma, everybody.
Well, you guys got it good.
My dad's awesome. I love you.
Shout out to Brooke's dad.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dad. Well, I mean, I don't know. My husband doesn't do it for me. Maybe I need to school him on that.
Do I need a shout out?
Yeah.
Judge?
Shout out to my hubs. You suck.
Get it together.
No, I'm just kidding. I love you, babe. All right. Next one, a fancy job. All men think that women really want a man with a fancy job. Doctor, lawyer,
No.
putting a lot of pressure on them to be an executive.
Nah.
No?
I
How
don't
about
think
you?
so.
What do you think?
This will actually tie into my story today, but not the fancy job. What we want is connection and presence.
That's
and
accurate. That's
Yeah.
true.
You know what I've always been attracted to, and I think it's because this is what my dad did for a living, a guy that just got his hands dirty, that, you know, just,
Mhm.
I've always been just attracted to that.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
don't know why. Well, it's because my dad was in construction and things like that. So that's, I mean, I guess we just follow what, you know, our environment was.
No,
Not
my
even
dad didn't do none of that.
No,
he didn't.
You just still like it anyway?
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. Definitely, if I don't want to fix something in the house, please fix it.
Oh, that's true.
Please
Yeah,
fix it.
a handyman is super
It
great.
is. Anything, if you can fix anything in the house, it's, yeah.
Okay, number 3 out of 13 things, and this is beyond the PG-13 that we usually try to rate our show at.
Ooh.
A big penis.
Did you really just go there?
That's what it said.
Totally
And this is
go.
Psychology Today, so I wasn't being inappropriate.
Apparently. I don't even know where to go there with
She's
that.
blushing.
I did not expect that. I didn't know it was on her list.
Isn't it
I
more
gotta start
about-
proofing her.
Yeah, isn't it more about the motion of the ocean?
Okay, I can agree.
Motion of the ocean. Well, that's what they were saying. In the survey, they were saying majority of women are like, you know, it doesn't have to be, you know, an
doesn't.
anaconda.
No.
That a lot of women are petite and, you know, it can hurt them and things
That
like
is-
that.
yes,
So
that's
men, you know, no need to get out the ruler. You're
Oh, stop
significant
with it.
enough. We're not looking at your feet. No. Okay.
That's not accurate. Just saying.
A man with muscles, a manly man.
I mean, that's cool. But
I mean, is it like on Brooke's list of your dream boat man?
Girl,
Does
at
he
this
have to
point-
have big muscles?
no, just be loyal and no, he doesn't have to.
So you don't mind if as long as he's loyal, he can be fatty.
Please be bigger. No, be taller than me. And I don't want to be smaller than you. Or yeah, you're smaller than me. I don't want him to be smaller than me. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what I want.
She's confused. How about you?
No, not big muscles really just aren't my thing. I like an average build.
Yeah, I can agree. They come with a big ego too.
That's
Muscles.
true. A guy that's in the
Big
gym
ego.
all the time,
Yes.
you're gonna have to,
And they
you know.
think they're prettier than you, and you're not. Just let all y'all know. Just throw that out there. You're not prettier than your
Not
wife
that
or your
she's been
girlfriend.
burned or anything at all.
I haven't.
like,
Well, they weren't
whatsoever.
prettier than me either. But just throwing this out for anyone that thinks they're prettier than their woman, you're not.
If your man's looking in the mirror more than you are,
That's a problem.
red flag.
Word. Then you'll both take forever to get out of the
Oh,
house.
Yeah, no
nice. We're never going nowhere. Late for everything.
A sensitive man.
Yeah, that's good.
I like it when
Be
they show their
sensitive.
heart.
Yeah, because we're sensitive, and we need you to be at some point sensitive.
But what about a oh, you hurt my feelings kind of man?
Yeah, I think
It
you
depends
need a
on how
balance.
bad I hurt your damn feelings. Okay.
Yeah.
Just throw that out there. What did I do?
A good balance, right? Enough
Yeah.
to like have a connection, but then also like enough to like be the rock occasionally, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you know, it's okay to cry every once in a while. Just don't cry in front of me every day about everything. Okay.
Word.
Overly affectionate.
I mean, that's.
I love that.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes less is more. Imagine
Yeah.
if you had a
I'm trying to
guy
think.
that was all over you all the time,
No.
constantly on top of you, just like touchy-feely all the time. Like we were in
That would work.
church
Oh.
the other day, and there was a couple sitting in front of us, and we're in church, and I swear, like, I mean, this was before COVID. Actually, I shouldn't say the other day.
I just say when.
And there was a couple sitting in front of us, and he had his arm around her, and I swear, every 5 minutes they come in to give her a kiss, and my husband was so frustrated. He was like, "Dude, they gotta stop." I mean, it was just so uncomfortable.
Get
I mean,
around.
less is more sometimes.
I agree.
right?
That's true. That's true.
Okay, a provider and a protector.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's on my
Yeah.
list.
I mean, I can provide for myself, but it is nice to have somebody that can contribute.
And according to Psychology Today, there are some misconceptions that not every woman cares if they're the provider or protector.
True.
As a matter of fact, they had a very high percentage, about 30% of women these days that have their own career that don't even mind if the man stays home.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about
Yeah.
that.
My husband is actually he's a woodworker and he works
Oh,
from
that
our
I can
home.
get that. Yeah.
And yeah, I love that he's home. He's better at home than I am, honestly.
Really?
So yeah, our relationship is kind of backwards. I'm more of the career driven, and he's more of like the stay at home. And
It
do
works,
things
though.
around the house. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are a lot of
nice.
people. I know people that do that. Mm,
Yeah, I have a good friend of mine that her husband stays home and takes care of the kids.
Yeah.
And she travels for her job and she makes really good money and she doesn't mind that he's
As
at
long
home.
as it all goes together and everybody's on board with it, it works. I
I
don't
mean-
think it matters.
I guess love is love, right? And
Yeah.
as long as you're taking care of your stuff.
True.
Okay. Next one, a pushy guy.
No.
Oh no.
Absolutely
One that's
not.
too assertive.
No.
Mm-mm.
I'm pushy, so like that would
work.
you know?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't work with me. either.
No.
And that goes along with alpha, an alpha man. My husband's definitely an alpha man,
Yeah.
and I'm an alpha female, so
Yeah.
we
They are.
yeah.
I know 'em both.
But we get into a disagreement, we both have to just walk away. It's like, okay, bye-bye. But, you know,
Happens.
not every woman wants an alpha man. A
True.
family man.
Yeah.
There was a good percentage of women that don't care if he's a family man. That
As
don't want
in-
children at all.
Oh, okay.
They don't want to. They don't want their own family. They don't want children.
That's different. Okay. No, I guess it just depends on the person.
They want to
then.
be in the Bahamas when they're 50 years old instead of paying for someone's college.
I want that too.
Can't we have both?
Can I do both?
Well, it depends on how much money you make and depends what college they go to, right?
Lone Star it is.
A
No,
man that can win a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can get down with that.
Yeah.
Please don't lose.
At least try.
If you talk it, please back it up because that's how I am. I'm not gonna say nothing unless I know. I mean, I will probably say something if I needed to.
But I don't want a guy that goes in like understand that there's times to walk away from
Absolutely.
controversy and choose your battles
Yes.
with people. Like if you
Right.
know that you have a really ignorant person in front of you and
Walk
they're just
away.
saying stuff that's so inappropriate and disrespectful, is it completely necessary to
No.
always just try to just walk away? Sometimes you have to take the higher road.
Yes, you do.
But I mean, I guess if they started it with them, you want them to win, right? So okay.
At least have the last word.
All right. Last two is confidence.
Yes. Everybody. I think everybody should have confidence.
Confidence
Yeah.
is sexy.
Mm-hmm.
Confidence is very sick, but not arrogant.
There's a
Right,
difference.
there is a difference.
There is a big time difference. And then this is number 13 on Friday the 13th.
Wow.
A man that is perfect.
There's no such
Who's
thing.
perfect?
Right, who's perfect?
If they come at me and they seem perfect, next.
Red flag.
They tell you they're perfect.
Next. If it's too good to be true, next.
All right.
Just
So
saying.
what one on this list you said reminded you of your story?
It was I think it was the man who has a good career or a fancy career.
Oh yeah, a fancy
Oh.
job.
Yeah, and it's not a fancy job, because then if they're all into their job and not giving you anything, then or they're coming home at the end of the day and they're just totally burnt out because of their fancy job.
Mhm.
That's not happy.
True.
Yeah.
That's very
Yeah, a
true.
man that works a lot of hours wouldn't be fun. I mean, some people
They're
have
not.
to do it to provide, but
True. True.
you do want to be able to have some quality time together and things like that. You want, I think the main thing, especially if you're passionate about what you do, as long as they're passionate about what you do and you guys are on the same page with everything,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what they do,
It's
right?
all team.
Totally.
Teamwork.
As long as it's not illegal.
Well, yeah. I don't recommend it.
Oh my gosh. So we only have a few minutes before we go on break, but I want you to tell the audience just a little bit about what you do, and then we're going to get down to the nitty gritty of what drove the passion to get you started in it. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm Rachel Williams. I'm a life and leadership coach and women's empowerment coach.
Mm-hmm.
And I help women be bold without the burnout.
Oh, okay.
And so that kind of fits into the career piece that we'll go into later. But a lot of women these days are just so burned out that they feel if they add even one more thing to their plate, like they're all going to come crashing down, right? And so we lose touch with who we are and our desires and our voice. And or we're so busy trying to be this image of what others think that we should be the good girl, the good wife, the good employee, the good mom, that we just completely lose ourselves in the process. So I help women reconnect with who they are, their inner voice, their inner passion, what drives them, and then have that without having to let all the rest of the plates come crashing down.
Nice.
I love that. Yeah, and being a woman in business, you do feel like you have to be so assertive and put so much of yourself in it to succeed. And you can get burned out really, really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's that happy medium of trying to juggle all the things, being there for your kids, being there for practice, but
All
being
of
there,
it.
being present.
Being present, because it's different. Because I
Yeah.
even catch myself doing it. I'm there, but I'm there
Working.
working.
I'm on my phone.
And yes, so I mean, I'm guilty too. Every single one of us have done it.
I have to catch myself,
Mhm.
especially at like last night at my son's football game. I was making the flyer for today's show,
I know.
and so I'm telling my husband, please let me know when they put Ian out on the field.
Let me know when
because
to
I
look
didn't
up.
want to miss a thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
hard when you're juggling a lot.
It
so
is.
and it can, and I was feeling so overwhelmed and so burnt out right there at that present moment, because I wanted to be there for my son, but I knew I had an obligation to do something here. And it's like, okay, what do you do?
What-
And how do you keep yourself centered and still stay in a good mood? Because then you can ruin your whole evening
Yes.
by feeling overwhelmed and burnt out on something that you're, obliged to do.
I
So
know. I agree.
I like that. So when we come back from break, we are going to continue that conversation, being bold without the burnout, with
Love it.
Rachel Williams. Y'all stay tuned. We'll see you in a minute.
When people stop talking to each other, society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters.
Between the ages of 0 and 5, a child's mind is very impressionable. Researchers call it the theta brainwave. This low frequency is the state of consciousness between the conscious and subconscious worlds. In this state, the mind is capable of deep and profound learning, healing, and growth. There is a subconscious loop that's created during these early years. Who you believe you are has been downloaded based on experiences that you have had. A bad experience could create fears and limitations. Do you love who you are? Do you believe in yourself? The reality is that you can't control your childhood. All you can do is interpret it. You can choose to see your good and your value. Try this experiment. Project forward. See yourself at 80 years old. Now you have lived a lifetime. What advice would you have for your younger self? What risks would you have taken? What relationships would you have avoided? Did you celebrate life? Did you allow yourself to feel, to be present? Your 80-year-old self would tell you to not live in fear, to have faith that things will work out, that all you have to do is persist until you succeed. Your 80-year-old self would tell you to stay healthy, to take care of your body. And it would ultimately tell you to share your gifts with the world.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Edge Radio today. I'm Brooke, your co-host. This is Miss Nicole Giddens with us, our hostess with the mostest. And then we have Rachel Williams. She was just telling us all about her company and what she does, her life coaching. So go ahead, let's go back into that and talk about what you were saying.
Totally. So I help women be bold without the burnout. And my tagline is having it all. I don't know, have y'all ever read the book Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg?
I haven't.
That came out in 2013, and one of the terms that really stuck with me and kind of the driver behind the book was when women lean out, they should really be leaning in. And she caught a lot of flack in that time because women were like, well, of course you can lean in, you're rich and you have nannies and like all this other stuff. But like you were saying, it's easy to get overwhelmed and you feel like life is a bunch of conflicting priorities. And so what I help women do is really get down to the truth of what they really want, what they really desire. And then you can prioritize those things in your life and let the rest fall away. And one of the trainings that I give is the 5 secrets to saving your schedule. And like the number one secret is what I call the 4D prioritization system, which is do now, figure out, like, just make a list. What can you do now? What can you delay? What can you delegate? And then what can you delete?
Oh,
And one of my clients, we joke, it's do, delay, delegate, delete, 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 delete,
Delete. I like that one the most.
Yeah.
Can I delete the dirt out of my house so I don't have to clean it?
Right.
That'd be nice.
It gets overwhelming with housework sometimes, too,
Yeah.
even if you have a maid that comes helps you once a month.
Oh,
When I was talking to you and getting to know you before you came on the show, you were really, we engaged in a great conversation on about a beautiful journey that you went on. I want you to tell the audience a little bit about your survivor journey that got you engaged in helping women in this day and age. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Okay. So I had a very high-powered career, and I was dealing with environmental permitting for big energy projects, and it was very stressful, and it was a lot. And kind of in the midst of all of that, I found myself deeply unsatisfied, very unhappy. I had what I called a checklist life. I had the house, the spouse, the pets, the money, the car. I had all the things, and yet, like, my body and my mental health were completely falling apart. And I had anxiety that was, like, through the roof. I gained 60 pounds in a year. I had all this acne. I couldn't think straight. I had all this brain fog. And I was like, what is wrong with me? And I kept going to all these doctors, and they were like, you're fine. Your labs are fine. It's all fine. I'm like, I'm not fine. So I've got a degree in biology with a minor in chemistry. I was like, I'm going to figure this out myself. So that's kind of what launched me into the alternative health and wellness space, which is where I figured out that I actually had polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Oh, wow.
PCOS, which now you hear about that a lot more, thank God, than you used to.
Right.
There's a lot more awareness, but back then, which was kind of the 2012 time frame, I just wasn't hearing about it back then. So in an effort to reverse my symptoms, which I ended up doing naturally, I came across health coaching. So I said, you know, there's tons of women out here that need help. I'm going to launch a coaching business. So I did. I got my health coaching certification in 2016 and launched my business in 2017. So I was coaching women with PCOS to reverse their symptoms naturally. But then along the way, I realized that for me, a lot of where my physical stress and the PCOS and the symptoms was a result of my mental stress. Like I had to get my mind right. Because if you don't get your mindset right, you're not going to have the fortitude and discipline to get your body right.
Right.
So then that just naturally led me into life and leadership coaching, which is what I do now, and women's empowerment, because one of the things that I talk about is, you know, what's the secret? We all want to know, what's the one thing if somebody has what you desire? And if it really came down to one thing, it would be empowerment. It was feeling empowered that gave me the impetus to like start researching my own symptoms. It was feeling empowered that led me to reverse my own symptoms. It was feeling empowered that led me to start putting the boundaries in place that I needed to get my life back on track.
Yeah, for sure. So when you found out that you had this and you went to a regular PCP, what were his remedies for you?
It's always birth control pills and metformin, which, ladies, let me tell you, it works until it doesn't work. And even if it's working for you, it's just covering up what's really going on underneath.
Yeah. And so the alternative ways and the homeopathic ways, and as you're starting to study about inflammatory responses with whatever you coincided naturally with it, what did you find?
It's all about nutrition, sleep,
Yeah.
stress management, and lifestyle. I think a key piece is finding what brings you joy, right? Like doing something that brings you joy is so healing.
It's very true.
And the more stressed you are, the more you can cause a dis-ease in your body, which will cause
Absolutely.
disease like what you had.
Mhm.
So what did you take to help it?
I didn't.
Huh?
Honestly, I mean, I did take some supplements for a while, like vitamin D and fish oils and stuff like that. And I took the metformin for about 6 months, but it wasn't really helping me. And so finally, I was just like, I'm getting off everything. And I did. And so I was really focusing on stress management, sleep, boundaries, and good, solid nutrition that just, I started losing weight, and the anxiety is all gone.
Just treating your body better,
Exactly.
all in a whole. Just following the basic
Right.
traditional diet, treating your body better, more fruits and vegetables, less fat, less processed food, less preservatives, and bada boom, bada bang. There you go.
Totally.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Without any
It's that simple.
medicine.
Yeah. And unfortunately,
Of course.
you know, primary care physicians, they are taught all the pharmaceutical medications.
Right.
So that's what they prescribe. Now, metformin can be very, very beneficial because it will help that thickness of the permeable wall of your cell to break down so you can absorb the nutrients. So your body probably did need that a little bit. But yeah, to know that you got off of something that is harmful on other organs of your body and were able to continue on, it's just they just coat the problem.
It does. It masks. It's a Band-Aid.
You know, and birth control can make you gain weight.
Oh,
it makes
yeah.
your hormones all off.
Oh, it
and
does change
everything
hormones for
else.
sure.
Yes. And so you're feeling better, and then here you are now, a life coach empowering other women, and I love that.
I do too. I do.
mean, of course, it's the name of our segment.
I know.
Right.
So it's just so important for us to lift each other up. So tell our audience how they can get in touch with you, and do you have an office somewhere? Are you all online now, or?
I'm all online. So COVID really wasn't a thing for me because I was already online, and most of my clients are super busy, high-powered professional women, so they don't have time to like drive across town. And so it's kind of like with the virtual therapy these days, we just get on a video chat. And my one-on-one clients, we meet once a week for about an hour, and I help them line out for their week, and we go from there.
That's
So
pretty interesting.
you can find me and kind of all my content and stuff on either my personal Facebook profile, Rachel Bonner Williams. I also have a business Facebook profile that I put all my content, which is at Lion Frog Coaching, on both Facebook and Instagram. I have a website, but it's currently down. So, but when it comes back up, it's lionfrogcoaching.com.
Lionfrogcoaching.com. I like that. So for all our women out there that are trying to find their inner self and that are
Yes.
feeling lost and broken and maybe even unhealthy, like there's some kind of imbalance going on in your body, if there was one bit of advice that you could give them that could ignite empowering themselves to go on their journey, to be bold without the burnout, what would you say to them?
Quit shitting all over yourself. Quit shitting all over yourself. Figure out what really drives you. Figure out what you really want and go for it.
I love that.
I know.
Quit shitting on yourself. From the expert here,
Yeah.
Rachel Williams. No. Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank
You are
you.
so intelligent and such a light, and it's
So happy to meet
it's
you.
a blessing
I
to
know.
meet her, right?
I know.
And
Thank
she
you,
just kept it
ladies.
so simple. I'm thinking
love it.
she's gonna come out with this huge formula of all these different adaptogenic herbs, which I'm like a kid in a candy store when you
She
put vitamins in front
loves
of me.
anything about that.
But yeah, keep it simple.
I
Quit
love it.
shitting on yourself. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to go on break, and when we come back, we're going to be with the neurobiofeedback specialist and fitness competitor, Christy Janik. So y'all stay tuned.
Are you a small business owner concerned about the downturn in the economy? Top business leaders like Mattress Mac and Warren Buffett will tell you that now is the time to promote your business more than ever. People need your services. Your business needs an edge. Learn about special advertising packages for small businesses right here on Edge Radio. Find out more, give us a call at 281-744-0446. That's 281-744-0446. Edge, because truth still matters.
This is former Rocket Robert Reed,
This is Mel Hewitt of Athletes United.
and we want to talk to you of our new program and podcast. We're talking about former athletes who are doing a lot of things in the community.
Various athletes in various sports, swimming, track, soccer, football, baseball, you name it.
Former and current athletes here in the greater Houston area.
All promoting wellness, health, all promoting that which makes us all better.
Of Edge Radio, truth still matters.
Welcome back to the Women's Empowerment segment on Edge Radio TV Network. I'm your host, Nicole Giddens. I have my co-host here, Brooke Wines. And we have our special guest here today, Christy Janik. She's a fitness competitor, and we call her Dr. KJ. She does amazing work in neurobiofeedback therapy. You're over at the Nirvana Med Spa, is that correct?
Yes, so Nirvana Neuro and Biofeedback Therapy. We're at the spring office at a med spa right now, but we are hoping to expand to the Woodlands area.
Nice, and it's such an amazing modality. Like, it helps so much, and you're so very intelligent. I mean, when you hear this girl talk, you're going to be amazed.
She's pretty awesome.
But I always like to start off with a little icebreaker, and she came up with this one. And obviously, she's done her research.
Obviously.
But I was talking to you on the phone this morning, and we were talking about our icebreaker, and Christy said, I know one. And I said, what? And she said, men do have their periods, too.
Yes, they do. Thank you very much.
So you're talking once a month.
I'm
talking
talking
like green.
I'm talking
Every 2 weeks.
Bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly.
It is
weekly.
You can't pinpoint when that's coming.
Well, yeah. Well, I think we are all hormonal beings, and you
Yes.
know, I think that hormones do affect our physical bodies, and so they affect our psychological minds as well. And so, I take that as a joke. I think men have a period too, but
I think busy.
I
Oh,
think
they
we're
can.
all hormonal. So men, give us grace, and we'll give y'all grace. And we'll be just fine.
She's a doctor.
God made us very complicated for a reason. He wanted to spice it up a little bit, I think.
Keep you
know?
guessing.
He's like, okay, she's going to be sweet and kind, and once a month, The Exorcist.
The Tasmanian devil.
Just once a month, guys. It's not a big deal.
Hey, variety is the
together.
spice of life. Okay, come on.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Right. No, but I mean, all of our biological clocks are ticking, and men start losing their testosterone too, just as well as we lose our estrogens and we become imbalanced and things like that. So I mean, I guess they can be moody. I think honestly that, you know, we only get 1 week out of the month that we can be, you know what. But I have to say, you know, there's a few times a month that mine really, we can be a little pissy.
Kicks in high gear.
Guys, we're not crazy, okay? We're just hormonal.
Yeah.
They are too.
Yeah, everybody's a little crazy. That's the way the world goes.
I'm not.
I don't know.
Why is she laughing?
It depends on what your definition of crazy is.
Hey, there's a good crazy.
There's
That's
a good
me.
crazy.
There's a crazy
There's a crazy
amazing.
cool, crazy
That's
fun, crazy amazing, crazy cuckoo.
I'm not that. I'm not crazy.
So you were a fitness competitor for a long time. So tell me about your accolades in that field and what got you started with the neurobiofeedback therapy. We'll start with the fitness first.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I am a former pro athlete. I started competing when I was just turned 15 years old. During this time, I actually had big dreams and aspirations to play college volleyball.
Oh.
And so, you know, I went into high school freshman year, and I was so excited to play, you know, volleyball on a higher level, of course, you know, and my freshman year, I tore one ACL, and doctors misdiagnosed me 3 times. 3 different
So
doctors.
you kept playing on that.
So I kept playing. I was like, well, you know, I'll suck it up. I'll take the pain. You know, I had a very high pain tolerance. I had a lot of grit. I had a lot of passion in it, and you know, I was always the one who never let anything hold me back. So I was like, suck up the pain. It's fine. Nothing's torn. Which indeed it was, but I was misdiagnosed 3 to 5 times by doctors, chiropractors, everyone. We had x-rays, everything.
Wow.
And finally, they finally found that my ACL was torn. And so, but during this time I didn't know, you know, during those 8 weeks I didn't know my ACL was torn. And so I got back on the court, you know, and I was like, coach, I'm fine, you know, I'm in pain, but I'm fine. I'll just land on the other leg, because I played outside hitter. Front row outside hitter, and people actually called me killer on the court.
Love it.
Love that.
And so you know, I just started landing on the other leg, and I was warming up for a game, out of town game, and came hard down on the other leg, and I tore that one as well. I tore my ACL, I tore both ACLs, I tore my MCL, I damaged my kneecap, and I dislocated my kneecap, where I had to have it taped down for about 12 weeks.
Oh my goodness.
And so I was told, you know, I needed to get surgery to fix this, and my mom, you know, she read up on all, you know, the whole layout of the whole surgery process and all that, and she was determined to also find an alternative therapy to healing. And by God's grace, I did an alternative therapy.
Did you do the stem cells?
I did electromagnetic therapy. So it's kind of like muscle stem, but on a much higher level. I'm talking every session with my therapist, I would be in tears. We would have to, you know, she would crank it up as high as she could go. And so basically it encourages blood flow to ligaments and joints. And, you know, our bodies can heal itself when given the right information and, you know, the right tools. And so through nutrition, which played a huge role in why I believe I tore my ACLs, because during this time, this was about 12 years ago. You know, during this time, I remember the whole diet fad starting to come out, and, you know, during that age, you know, you're wanting to diet, look good, you're dating, you're in high school, you know, and so I fell into the whole diet thing of fats were bad. During this time, like, it was like fats are bad, you know, now it's carbs are bad. And so I really encourage people to just be careful what you hear and listen to and read. So, you know, being so young, I was like, okay, you know, I truly believe that is why I tore my ACLs, because I was malnourished.
Yes.
You know, I was following these diet schemes and what society was telling women they should do. And it's so sad, but unfortunately it happened to me. And I know it, you know, this is part of my story, and maybe it's part of my story to help other women, younger women, you know, be careful.
Absolutely, and you can't just put all your eggs in one basket either. It's very, very important for our young women to make sure that they get educated and know that you can't just rely on your athleticism to carry you through. And sometimes you just can't make plans because God has others for you.
Yeah, so that's kind of how I got into, so ditched the volleyball career, you know, for a while. Doctors told me I would never be able to play another sport again. And I think when I heard those words sitting on that doctor's table and him looking me in the eye and say, there's a very high risk you will never be able to play sports again. And I just remember being like, you're not God, and you're not telling me what to do. And so,
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, challenge accepted.
Game on.
You know, I had full faith. I was like, oh, no. And so, you know, I remember still having that volleyball, you know, when you're in high school, you still have that volleyball period of where you go to that class and do the volleyball, whatever. And so instead of playing with the team, I grabbed a chair and I plopped it in the middle of the girls' weight room, and I lifted dumbbells. I did upper body, and because that was all I could do. Like, I couldn't really do a lot of leg stuff because both my ACLs were torn. So I did upper body, and I remember for 2 weeks, like 2 weeks later, I remember seeing like results. Like, whoa, what is this?
The competitor and you was like, I'm gonna do something with this then.
Yeah. I'm gonna flex this thing. Yeah, so I started doing upper body, and my body started changing pretty quickly once I started eating right, getting educated, and you know, adding in resistance training. And so I got a compliment for my birthday that year, actually, for my 14th birthday. My mom asked me what I wanted for my birthday, and I said, I want a gym membership. And so she's like, you know, she really didn't want to, you know.
Yeah.
Thinking
she didn't want you to hurt yourself.
Yeah, and I was looking back, I was young. And, you know, a lot of people told me I was mature for my age, but, you know, I can understand why. She's like, oh, pick something else. You know, got up to my birthday. What do you want for your birthday? Gym membership. So at this point, you know, she's like,
I know. Presley told me that the other day.
And, you know, that's good. Yeah. So at this point, I think she was just wanting to do whatever made me happy. You know, because I was in a really, that was a really big one.
Very depressed. Yeah.
Very depressed.
I bet.
Being so active and not
and
being
then
able
you can't
to
do nothing.
Yes.
That would
very
tear
depressing.
anybody up.
Yes. And so she was just wanting to do whatever made me happy, so she got me a gym membership, and I remember the trainer there, he's amazing, and he just literally threw a magazine on the counter, and he said, you could be that one day. He's like, you could totally be a fitness model one day. You could be better than her. And I was huh. So I took that magazine home with me, and I just flipped through it, and I saw all these competitors and, you know, these muscular women. I was like, I want to be that. Like, I want to be on a magazine one day like that. And so, you know, everybody thought I was crazy, and I kind of kept my goals to myself, but I would mention it here and there.
Because people can be so
crazy.
cynical when you have such a big goal.
They bring you down.
It's crazy.
Well, they try to bring you down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and so every night I would look through that magazine, you know, and so that really just kept me motivated. But so I continued training and stuff. Got a coach to take me through my first prep. People still thought I was a little crazy, you know, didn't believe me, like, oh, you're doing competition, okay, cool, you know. And so my parents, I'm lucky that my family supported me, you know, finally. And just, you know, they trusted me that I was, you know, this is what I'm passionate about. And so I did my first show. I did very well. I got second place. And then the following weekend, I took the women's overall. I took the whole show. And so I think that was when my parents really, you know, my family was really like, okay, wow. Like,
and you trained yourself.
Yes.
See, now most people when they're competing and at that level, so were you like IFBB or which?
So this is NPC.
Okay, NPC. This is big time, guys. So most people hire a trainer. And how old were you?
I was just turned 15.
She just turned 15 training herself for that. I mean, that is no joke.
Go, girl.
You have to be so dedicated and so strict with your diet. I'm talking about to the very last gram of protein, to the very last gram of carb, to portion sizes, to ratio sizes,
measuring everything out,
macros. You know. I mean, it's nuts. Good for you.
Kudos to you.
It takes dedication.
Because I could never, ever do that.
And
looking back, I'm like, how did I do that? Because now I'm just like, ooh, like that's
it's so strict.
It's hard.
Oh
it
no!
Is so
down
so
to the food.
strict.
That's where I.
It's a definite mindset. You have to be just a different kind of mindset for something like that.
For sure, and I will say during that that time, my faith grew 100-fold because looking back, like just being in those moments, you know, just the extreme training, the extreme dieting as a female, you know, how you know, just the emotional roller coasters, getting so lean, you know, not having that social interaction. You know, you have to get your priorities straight. Like, how bad do you want it? You know, I cut out all of the BS. You know, I was focused, intently focused, because I fully believed in myself. I fully, you know, that was what I was truly passionate about, and so I put my all into it. I went all in, and for sure, you know, it paid off. But I give God all the glory for sure, because now that I'm here and I'm looking back and I'm like, oh gosh, I don't, like, people ask me when I will compete again, and I'm like, I don't even know if I could do that.
She's like, I'm doing neurobiofeedback there. Okay, I'm using this.
My brain now.
Okay, so we're going to get into the other side of the spectrum of what Christy does, and I just love that you're a godly woman, and you are such an inspiration, and you wouldn't believe how young this chick is. She is an old soul. We'll get into it a little bit, but y'all stay tuned. We'll be back in a minute.
This is former Rocket Robert Reed.
This is Mel Hewlett of Athletes Unite.
And we want to talk to you of our new program and podcast. We're talking about former athletes who are doing a lot of things in the community.
Various athletes in various sports. Swimming, track, soccer, football, baseball, you name it.
Former and current athletes here in the greater Houston area.
All promoting wellness, health. All promoting that which makes us all better.
Of Edge Radio, truth still matters.
The Natural Nation Network is really about taking control of your health.
When people stop talking to each other, society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters.
Welcome back to the Women's Empowerment segment on Edge Radio Network. My name is Nicole Giddens. I'm the host. I got my co-host here, Brooke White. We have our special guest, Christy Janik. She is amazing. She was just telling us on break that she became an entrepreneur at the age of 17 years old. So you win your first contest at 15 that she trained herself NPC level. She becomes an entrepreneur at 17, and at 18 you got your pro card. You were the youngest girl to get a pro card in the NPC, correct?
Actually did. So I got my pro card in the Natural League.
Okay.
Yes. So that was the International Physique League.
Nice. Okay, cool. Still, it's a huge accomplishment. That's so amazing. And so you're an entrepreneur. You're doing your fitness stuff online at that time?
Mm-hmm. Online and in person.
Okay. And what drove you into it? Was it all the electrostim therapy for your knee and all that alternative medicine and those modalities that when you were in that environment that gave you that passion to go more the alternative medicine route for your biofeedback therapy?
Absolutely. I would say it was the combination of things that I went through in my past. You know, I did all the things, right? You know, as a young girl, I ate healthy, I exercised, and I was still always sick. I was always known as the sick child. And so, you know, and genetics play a role, absolutely, but it's not about what you were born with sometimes. It's about what you do with what you were born with. And I think, I think that's the beautiful thing about epigenetics as well. But so throughout my whole childhood and most of my life, I was always sick. And so, thankfully my parents always believed in alternative medicine first before, reaching a medical doctor, pharmaceutical doctor, medication and drugs and stuff like that. And so I do give them, my gratitude for that and showing me that whole other world of, natural medicine and giving your body the right tools so it can heal itself and getting to the root cause of things. And so, I was always seeking natural medicine. That just, I think that I just felt like I went through what I went through to help other people, and I went through a lot. It was hard. It's hard being sick. It's hard not feeling yourself. It's hard not feeling good, not having energy. It's so hard. And I think that's where the passion lies for me, is wanting people to feel good again, because I know what it's like to not feel good. And it's a whole nother world when you're yourself, you have energy, you feel good. And I'm so passionate about it because I know what it's like. And, I don't ever want to go through that again, being sick, or the autoimmune diseases and, different things that I faced, and leaky gut and all the gut issues and mental health issues, the anxiety, depression, OCD, all of that. I never want to go through that again, but I don't regret going through it, because it has helped me be a better practitioner with more understanding than I could ever imagine.
You experienced it.
Absolutely.
So you can understand and have a good bedside manner and care.
Well, you want to go with someone that's an advocate and actually what you're going
Exactly.
through. And ladies, sometimes it's okay to feel not okay.
Yes.
You're not going to wake up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and everybody gets anxiety, and we all get down sometimes. And I think everybody hides and becomes so introverted when these things happen to them, because they think that everybody else, there's not one person on this earth that has it all together.
Amen.
You know what I mean? Like, everybody has to put on their pants the same way you do every morning, one leg at a time, So don't beat yourself up if you're feeling this way.
Absolutely.
Don't let it consume you, because I think it's almost like a snowball effect, right? You're feeling down, so you're beating yourself up by feeling down, because I don't know why I'm feeling down, and next thing you know, you dug yourself into a hole.
Well, yes, that is true. I love the way you said that. Now there's that aspect. I could go into a whole conversation about that. How controlling your thoughts, controlling your mindset. Your thoughts matter.
It does.
The way you talk to yourself matters. And if you wouldn't talk to a friend that way, don't be talking to yourself that way. But and then there's also a medical view of it, where you do have low neurotransmitters, you do have low hormones, and so that's another approach. So it's really a case-by-case thing of what you're dealing with,
what you're deficient in.
Exactly. Exactly what's
going on. If I walk into Nirvana Med Spa and I ask for Dr. KJ and I sit down in front of her, what are you going to do for me? Tell me some of the modalities that you incorporate, and what does your consultation consist of?
Yeah, so first we would start off with the consultation. You tell me the things that you're experiencing, any symptoms you're going through, any ailments, any medications or anything you're currently taking, or what you're doing or what you're not doing. And then from there we consult. I would give you some recommendations. We have, a functional medicine program where we take over basically your diet, your exercise, and your supplementation routine based off of your consultation report. And then we offer biofeedback. Biofeedback therapy is one of our most popular programs, and that is our microcurrent biofeedback, which gives microcurrent frequencies to your body to help balance it. And so we get biofeedback and we get tests back based off where your body's imbalanced, based off what your body is lacking, and we give you the frequencies to help heal it. And then we also have the ionic foot detox baths. And so what that does is it helps to encourage detoxification processes through using negative and positive ions. So basically what this looks like, to give you a visualization, is we create a little water salt solution and we stick an array in there, and you put your feet in there and you'll soak for 30 minutes, just a 30-minute process, and this will help pull toxins from your feet. And then it will also turn colors based off of where the toxins are pulling from in your body, whether it's your liver, your lymphatic system, cell debris, maybe you have a lot of heavy metals in your body. A lot of people use it for heavy metal detoxification because that is becoming more prominent, and we're starting to see the side effects of heavy metals, heavy metal toxicity in our bodies. I think Tony Robbins actually is a great example of heavy metal toxicity, and somebody who went from doctor to doctor trying to figure out what was wrong with him. And finally he went to, I think, a naturopathic doctor, I believe, don't quote me on this, but they found out that he had heavy metals that was causing his depression and, you know, brain fog and all these things. And so, you know, it's huge. You know, environmental stress is huge. Toxins, it's huge. And when we can take that load off of our bodies can do what they're meant to do, and it can heal, and it can repair, and it can restore and balance. And so
yeah, because those things aren't supposed to be in your body.
Absolutely.
And if you're questioning, it's like a polarity therapy. So you got to think about our bodies are on a sodium potassium pump, which is a negative and positive force, and that's the way our bodies run. If like someone has a heart attack, what do? They literally electrocute them. So you've got something that's created that's like a poultice from your feet where your circulation ends. So if you're like, oh man, does that really work? Well, just soak in a bath of Epsom salt, which is a very light poultice. And do you feel relief? It's just like a poultice, right? A lot of PTs will use mustard packs as a poultice to pull the, you know, the edematous tissue and all that liquid and stuff off of the muscle. So it actually can work. It does work. So I know a lot of people, when you introduce a different type of therapy and you're using those words that they haven't really heard before, it's really, really simple. Our bodies run on polarity. So having a poultice like that, of course, is going to be beneficial.
Absolutely.
And so the neurobiofeedback therapy, so basically it's an analyzation that goes through the whole entire body that can find out where your body's deficient, and then you centralize a certain type of, is it a megahertz frequency? What type of frequency do you implement in the areas that need help?
It depends. It uses all different types of hertz, different sound. It'll also use sound waves to help restore balance. So it also intertwines sound therapy as well, and it will use different hertz, different frequencies until it can get your body to adjust.
Okay, so it's like an ultrasound kind of. That's really cool. And the one that I'm really fascinated by, because a lot of people have concentration issues, is that y'all do this for ADHD as well, right?
Absolutely.
So can you describe a little bit to the audience how you guys accomplish that?
Yeah, so it's kind of the same way. Biofeedback, it treats everything. And we do have a lot of patients that walk through our door that have ADD, ADHD problems. And I think that we all have a little bit of ADD, ADHD to some extent, right?
Everyone does. I'm guilty.
Yeah. So basically, I can, you know, run different tests and get different analyzations back on, you know, a score, and based off that number of how high the ADHD is or how high the ADD is how we go about, you know, helping heal that problem and helping to restore back balance to the brain.
So is that just, I mean, is that for kids too, or
absolutely
you can?
Yes, absolutely.
So where is it that you place it on the head? Right.
So we'll have a harness that goes on the head. You'll have sensors on your arms and sensors on your legs.
Okay.
So it really helps to, because you know our bodies from head to toe, it's all energy.
Yes.
Everything's connected. And so yeah, but ADHD and ADD is often, you know, a symptom of too much excitatory neurotransmitters. And so bringing those excitatory neurotransmitters back down, sometimes it's a cortisol issue, helps to really restore that, helps to get them more clarity, more focus. So yeah.
It's interesting.
And it's a circulation issue too. That blood-brain barrier to the brain, those synaptic releases just can't connect, and that's why a lot of people that have ADHD are just so compulsive. Everything's a great idea, and they don't think about the consequences before they just jump right into it.
That's a great way to describe it.
Well, Christy, let our audience know how they can get in touch with you and where your med spa is located and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so we are on social media. We are on Instagram, nirvana.holistichealth.wellness. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram, Christy Yannick, and then our website, nirvanabiotherapy.com, to check out all of our services, to read up about it, and to book your session. That's Nirvana.